All right, I'm going live now.
Okay.
Go live. Woohoo!
Mm.
We're live, everybody.
Hi, Doc. Wait, no, that's what you said. Sound like you
I,
said.
I was I was thinking the same thing. So
God, how our brains are intertwined sometimes with these things.
that's
Many years. It's like I got a memory yesterday that 6 years ago Marie graduated from university, and I knew her before that. It's like, oh, and Trekyards before that. Before that, it's like, oh,
yeah.
it's been a couple of years, Stuart. We're outlasting a lot of things. Because
Indeed,
once
indeed.
Discovery gets cancelled, we're going to outlive Discovery's pre-inception, inception, production problems, fourth reboot, and closure. Still here.
And in 10 years, they'll do a Discovery movie. No, they won't.
Discovery, next generation.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Hi guys, welcome back. We're
Now,
here to talk about Trek shows.
I did a pre-poll because we've only got 4 options in any given poll to our chagrin. So there's 5 shows to vote on. So I'm doing an initial poll to vote in right now. Would you vote Discovery as the best of the 5 shows or any of the other shows? Just to see if I can, if I need to pull it out of the ratings or not. Because if it is the best, I'll keep it in the 4. But if it's not, I can just do the other 4. See what I did there, Stuart?
I did. It's great. Yeah. That makes me laugh.
I know.
Go vote in the polls, guys.
Yes, I want to see what margin we can get. What do you think of the thumbnail as well? Sort of summarising the last 5 iterations of Star Trek. My goodness.
Sorry, say that again. I was reading a comment. I didn't hear the first part.
What do you think of the thumbnail? I mean,
Oh,
summarising 5 years worth of 5 shows worth of Star Trek.
great. Yeah, very to the point. Classic. They're classic posters, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that was an order. Because I'm pretty sure Lower Decks came before Picard.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Boy, what an evolution of things.
yeah.
Crazy.
SVS Guru 2000 has been a member for 9 months at the rank of commander.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you. It's still Lower Decks, followed by Strange New Worlds and Prodigy.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure we'll ask
Well,
everyone a little bit later.
Christopher Maroney says from best to worst, Discovery, Prodigy, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, and Picard. I think you got your bests bookmarked by the worsts. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Goodness.
All right, this will be a good discussion then, because a lot of people were very adamant that Discovery's not the best. Big Logan was saying it's Strange New Worlds. Obviously, it's not even close. Why are you even
Oof.
bothering with this? Lower Decks was fun, but the rest were unwatchable. Bilgewater and Strange New Worlds is the best Star Trek since DS9. So, not even subjective. Wow, not even subjective. Everyone, save yourself some time and frustration.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time. The answer's been given. We'll see you then.
Yep, yep. Big Logan has spoken. We are done. Bye, guys.
The chair's confident standing. So,
Oh, I guess we'll.
well, I was saying that the chair's actually confident standing. So I'll just, because I'm choosing to come back into the chair.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's worth the discussion anyway. Anyway, yes. So, hit the like button if you haven't. He's going to share this around,
Yes,
and
I
I'll
am.
talk with you guys.
Yes, you will.
Yes, I will.
Very much.
Yes. Please consider super chatting. Let us know your favorites. Please vote in the poll, and by all means, let us know your opinions. We do want to read those out, and we do want to discuss what you think. There's a lot of varying opinions, so that's very awesome. And we'll have to give the pros and cons of each. And this is just a fun discussion. It is subjective, despite what Big Logan says, and it's worth talking about because I don't mind having my opinion changed. It changes quite often. I'm not set in my ways. I can't change. So by all means, let's talk about it. That's the thing. So please super chat. Let us know your thoughts. We do want to read those. We do read them all on the air, so please do so. Also, consider hitting that join button. There's a join button down there. You can join the channel, which is like a monthly subscription service to help us out and show your support. You can also head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. Help us there. Or you can send a PayPal to Trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know in the regular chat that you sent to PayPal, and we'll read your comment or question via the email from PayPal. So lots of great ways. And I would say check out the description of our videos for a lot of cool links, but unfortunately, the Eagle Moss thing ship has sailed for now anyway. And everybody in God's green earth has been asking me about that, and I'm sorry if I've ignored you about that. It's too early to really tell what's going on, and we will, I'm sure, probably do a live about that at some point, just talking about all the past Ecomos stuff and the good or the bad or the sad or the whatever about that. But it is worth a discussion at some point. So, yeah. But yes, please, obviously hit like, show your support that way, share the videos around, just join us for all these great things. We've got some really great stuff coming up with Mike McMahon's this weekend. So, yeah, lots of ways to show your support. So, RJB 1714, member for 5 months, the record captain. Thank you so much, Captain Sir.
Thank you.
Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks are definitely the best for me. Prodigy is good, but Discovery and Picard are meh. Very disappointed with Picard. It's a pretty good summary of my thoughts, anyway.
And it's funny because you specifically were super for Prodigy, and I was super holding my tongue until I saw it.
Yeah.
But now, having talked to Aaron a couple of times about things and bobs, I'm way more enthused about it because once you know the people, you hear their logic behind things. That's exciting, you know. Okay, I may or may not have known they're using the All Good Things badge beforehand, and to sort of see their face, you ask them questions. It's been a fun experience to get to know them a little bit. So that's obviously clouding my judgment massively. but I'm like,
the show stood on its own since the beginning.
100%. But like, I know at least the themes that are coming, and that makes me excited. And they really frickin' try for canon. And it's like, it's far more narratively focused than Lower Decks, which is obviously is, but it's they can do these bigger, grander things probably than Lower Decks will try to, because it's not serious enough. So I'm just more excited in general because they're, well, I say that, but I don't like most of the art design of the current stuff. But that's not that.
I know.
But they know their tricorn and phaser are weird. They know they're not meant to be standard. They know they weren't replacements. They were just prototype.
They haven't really announced that yet. We have done an interview where we talked about that kind of stuff, but it hasn't been released yet. So
well, they did mention it vaguely in a Trek article, but like not as specific as yes, we also go into way more detail.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Stuart, do you want to promote what's coming out on Saturday?
We have an interview coming out with Mike McMahon and production team, talking about the refit of the Cerritos for season 2 of Lower Decks. This is the interview we did right after the season 2 ended. This is just part of it, though. There are different segments and parts we're going to be releasing, but this will be the first of them. So if you've been waiting for that Mike McMahon interview with us, check it out on Saturday. It's going to be our Saturday release, and it is talking about the Cerritos.
And it's pretty star-studded. No one else I've seen anywhere on the internet has had this level of access to the production team, all with their only, and you can tell from the vibe of it. I didn't edit it that much. It's I mean, I did, but like it's I left in there in between stuff. Like they're so genuine in their reactions. They're not trying to hide. They're not trying to think of answers. They're just sort of going on gut. They're very open with us, and that really comes across. So yeah, the first of that, which is nice. As soon as the show stopped coming out, I had time to go straight to that. So as soon as they stopped, boom. I try and have those out weekly for a bit, which is perfect because they're prime for Lower Decks season 3. So perfect time. Yeah,
it's a good lead in to season 3 for sure. So
hopefully people will promote them and share them, because we would like to get Mike and the team back, and that will depend on how many views we get as well, I'm sure. So if you guys like it and want to promote it, please do, because it's a really good interview. It's really informative. It's really interesting. Just the team is really nice to meet, because they don't do things online except Mike. So you still meet them for the first time. Yeah.
SES Guru 2000 throws in €5.
First super chat. Thank you.
As for Star Trek Discovery and Picard, I'd rather stare at Musk's pale, clammy, bloated torso for a week. Elon Musk's
Right.
very bright white skin.
Not a fan,
Yes.
I take it, this person. Hey, not
Well,
as bad as Zuckerberg. The memes of him being Data, I mean, that's for a reason.
Well, Elon's pretty ugly. He looks like an artificial life form too. So, anywho, Mark Lawrence, member for 30 months at Federation President, which is President Sir.
It's an astounding level of support, and it makes a billion times difference.
Yes.
Gosh.
He says,
"Yeah,
I've got it as Lower Decks and Prodigy in a tie for first place.
Okay.
Ooh. If Prodigy messes with canon, like the live action shows, it drops to second. Okay. With Strange New Worlds, a solid third. Picard and Discovery seem to be going backwards, competing for fifth place. Wow. I'm not going to disagree, but
it's a confusing situation to be in as a Trek fan, really.
Yeah. But this ad might help you make up your mind while you wait. And we're back. I don't know how those work. I've never gone back and watched those. I apologize if you saw an ad. But YouTube, hi. Welcome to YouTube. Cool. Yeah, so this should be a good discussion. And like I said, I'm open-minded. I'm willing to change my view if people have good arguments for something that I don't agree with. I've changed my mind quite a few times over the years. I'm not closed-minded and grumpy and curmudgeon-y and yelling at the kids on my lawn. So by all means, let us know your thoughts. It is subjective, despite what some people think, and it's fine. Everybody likes their own thing. So,
but also, unlike a lot of the people out there, we've spent a lot more time on each episode thinking, analyzing, reviewing. Most people watch it and leave and maybe comment on Facebook. We do several views in the same time, full reviews, short reviews, spoiler-filled reviews. We deeply think these things through and do analysis throughout the week. So we have a more reasoned perspective, which often from literally our first review point to which we film one thing, and then we do the full review a day later after we film other stuff. So often our perspective can change or our knowledge of it can change between the spoiler-filled and the live review as we get more information. So it's very dependent as we break it down. So, you know, even like Red Letter Media, who are very smart people, they miss lots of things, and so it's hard to take some of their opinions serious, because if they just make a mistake, it's like, well, it's just a mistake, etc. So it's we really think about it. So we have more expert opinions than some.
Expert. But yes, we hear all sides of all of the arguments, and we're witness to a lot of debates like that. So it does help broaden our minds quite a bit. So Space Thing Reckoning throws in $5. Thank you so much. My best to worst would probably be Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, Prodigy, Discovery, Short Treks, and way behind Short Treks is Picard. Absolutely despised Picard. Wow. Well, I didn't take Short Treks into account, but yeah. And Ababab puts in $5. Again, thank you so much, guys. That all helps out. Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds are the only two I like, in the sense that I like the other older Trek. Picard was pretty awful. Disco was okay. Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds are the only two I like, in the sense that I like the older Trek. Gotcha. Picard is pretty awful, and Disco is just okay. Okay.
And it's different, because every time I look at these, we read every episode individually, we also look at different scenes individually, and I'm left thinking of the highlights of each one. What you enjoy about each one. We don't try and linger on the negativity. If we started debating, though, amount of quality episodes in a run, or ideas we don't like, or flaws to characters, it'd be a whole different debate. It's interesting to see and we'll go into it in a second, of what's the gut reaction vibe, because once you start thinking, it probably is going to change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I we've had a lot of time to think about ours, though. I think I have mine nailed down pretty well, but Mark Lawrence throws in $10. Again, thank you so much, Mark. You are a godsend to this channel and just Trek fandom.
Can't wait to come to LA and hang out with you, and then you'll get to piggyback on our adventure there. And meet some cool
be feeling
people.
better next time. Last time you weren't feeling the best, which kind of sucks. So
you still kicked butt. So.
But anyway, he says, my ranking had nothing to do with the actors. It's the people in charge steering their ships to the jagged rocks. Listening to the call of the siren.
Actually, not to completely sidestep before we even started, who do you think has the best cast?
Ooh.
Not characters, best cast, like just the vibe of them, or the best performances, or not the best characters, just the best people behind the scenes, actor-wise.
That's tough, man.
I know it is.
They've all got some standouts for sure. Every series.
See, that one, Discovery's got more of a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the people are interesting. Guys, who do you think? Because
honestly, for that one, having thought about it for the
45 seconds
that I've had a chance to do this, so my gut reaction to the world. It's also the last one we watched.
Yes.
So I'm not sure that actually holds water, because I'm actually sifting through right now, and Anson Mount did a fantastic job, but so did the other cast in Strange New Worlds. And there's some letdowns in Picard. Discovery, they don't explore everybody's potential at all, so it's hard to say.
Although you get more time with Michael than anyone else in all the shows put together. So you get to you get to know her more than otherwise.
Lower Decks and Prodigy's rough, because I know like Jack Quaid from some stuff, but I don't know any of the other ones from anything really. And then the kids in Prodigy, but then it's propped up by having Kate Mulgrew on board and stuff.
And don't forget about Rob Beltran for his 2 lines.
Hopefully more coming.
Because that's all we've had so far, 2 lines.
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly you can't. Prodigy has to be taken out because we just don't know the cast at all. They don't really come through in the interviews, because that was a pure pandemic show. So there's really nothing of them outside of it that I know of. I like Tony Newson and Jack Quaid and the Hawaiian guy from Lower Decks. Oh no, all of them to some extent, but I think Tawny stands out really well in Lower Decks, but not enough to beat the other 3 live action. I think Picard has so many weak characters and actors that they're not able to enhance what they're given enough. Whereas you I think even to Discovery, you appreciate Mary Wiseman trying to make the crap she's given better. They've had the worst material to make good. It's easy for Anson, Ethan, and the Strange Worlds crew to make good writing good, as the animated series as well. Picard, it's shared. Is Discovery the best cast if you look at the quality of what they're going to do with the material? And 4 years also benefits from the amount of time.
You know who's got the best cast is Picard season 3.
Yes. That one teaser stole us, Stu, didn't it? That sold us.
Yep. Of course, unfortunately, they dropped some of their gold-winning actors with getting rid of Rios and things like that. So I don't know, man. Damn it.
That's hilarious. I think it really should be Stranger Worlds gets best cast because each one is well served. At some point, even Ortega's getting 10 lines in 3 episodes. I think that's going to win best cast.
Yeah.
And it's a way more character-focused show. But I think Discovery should get second best for best cast. Because
you got Doug Jones, you got Sneaker Martin Green, Anthony Rapp, who's been in a lot of other things as well.
Because they all bring something. They're all trying really hard, and that's I think Picard. I'll say they're not, but I wouldn't give much to Laris actress. I wouldn't give too much to, a ton of those. It's fine. But I think Discovery they're working with shittier stuff. So, yeah.
Yes, they're doing the best with what they're given, and it's to make that even Book, slightly watchable.
I mean, Book by himself, Book and Vance, those guys. Phenomenal cast.
Yep.
So that instantly actually makes the last 2. I mean, are they not better than everybody in Picard season 2 or 1? I mean, Rios, good, but he wasn't give as much. I mean, Rios or Vance, I'll go Vance, just for Like again, he's delivering shittier stuff better.
Pretty good for shit.
Yeah. Discovery's got to get a second, and if you go with large cast, I'll go Discovery first because even the new Federation President's good. Oh well, the start. Yeah, Federation President, not Earth President.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy, Stuart. Discovery got high grade right at the outset. Wow.
For actors, yeah.
Yes, not for characters. For actors.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole different topic. Simon Uphill, €20.
Oh,
Thank you. That is amazing.
That is a few of those, and we're rolling. Thanks so much, Simon.
Says, hey guys, first live in a while.
Yes,
yeah, it's been a while since we've seen you, Simon.
Well, you came in swinging, so.
Yeah. As much as I've enjoyed the animated shows, I've loved Strange New Worlds best of all. Although it's visually reimagined, it works for me overall. I've come to love the aesthetic. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the aesthetic. It's beautiful, rebooted, reimagined Star Trek TOS. It absolutely is. I'll just leave it there.
Just wish it was 30% more TOS. Or 40%.
Yeah. 100%.
And I would say that it's the easiest one, I think, except Lower Decks, so that just is, right? That just is Star Trek aesthetic. I found Stranger Worlds was the easiest to get accustomed to quicker, because they're so focused on the characters that the sets are very quickly out of focus, but in a gentle way. Picard, let's be honest, is never going to look good. It's always going to look like garbage. Discovery sets...
been shit.
Prodigy is too JJ. It's fine, but it's too JJ. And it's also not as detailed as the live action, so it doesn't... But Stranger Worlds, like, it's obviously not right, but it's lovely. But it's also not intrusive. You know, I still want the pipes on the top. You know? The pipes.
Well, Abba Bab says, I think you can break visual canon without breaking story canon. No, you can't. I mean, look at Trials and Tribulations. Look at Inamir Darkly. Look at Relics, where they showed the TOS bridge. They showed them as they should be because they're period pieces. That's how they looked. Period. Boom. They put a lot of time and love into that to recreate it. So.
Well, as soon as you can break visual canon, you can do whatever you want, because then we can't judge it. Then any uniform can be anything. Any comm badge can be anything. If they're breaking visual canon, maybe they've got comm badges 100 years early. Or maybe if the ship's now twice as big, that means the crew's half as much space. If it's warp core's 3 times the size, it doesn't make sense in this. If the shell's now warp capable the whole time, it's like this story. I mean, it's all one and the same, because the visuals are part of the stories. You know, if the ship can only go warp 7 and this ship can now go warp 36 in an episode and it zooms through, or can zoom through a star, well, that affects every other story. So no, they're thoroughly linked. This isn't Star Wars where you can just swap out a Star Destroyer and say, yeah, it's a new Star Destroyer. It's all thought out. And it's a sliding scale, you know. Because the bridge window was invented, it then had to be carried over for all the other shows, and Ryan Dennings had to include it, even though he knew it was the wrong thing to do, etc., etc. So, because people are going to say, well, that was the last thing in canon visually, so we're going to maintain that, but it was wrong the first time. Like, you're continuing the bad choice made years ago. Whereas if you go right visual canon, then, or at least better tweaked, you know.
It's a period piece. You just got to respect what came before. That's all.
Or best example, the communicator. It's a perfect visual update. It's the same thing, but sleeker. Yes. It's perfect.
If they had done the exact same thing with the bridge, we'd be a lot happier.
Yeah.
But no, they changed the bridge too much.
Still nice, but just too much.
Still beautiful, yeah. But Abba Babs continues on and says, I don't agree, but I appreciate you guys. Well, thank you. That's all we
Can you say what you
hope for.
Like, can you say if you now wish to TOS be retconned out, like now that visual canon's, like, do you want to be thrown out? Or does both coexist as being, well, Stranger Worlds isn't visually canon, we know that, it's its own thing, or would you rather erase TOS and 56 years of legacy? You tell me.
And Andrew S. says visual canon refers to just how something looks. We're aware. The item isn't changed, it's just more realized. And more refined, like you said, the TOS communicator from the TOS one compared to the Stranger Worlds one, yes. It's just higher resolution imagining of the future, I guess.
Well, put it this way: if Pike uses his ready room in a TOS episode flash forward, despite there being no ready room on the ship, that's now visual canon that breaks story canon and other visual canon. There's 2 visual canons that don't connect, etc. You know.
And 50 Charlie says, personally, I like the Stranger Worlds visual reboot. Could have been better, but it still works. We're not saying we don't like it. We like it just
We're very
fine.
clear, Stuart. We really like it.
Yes. Everything in it would have been perfect for the JJ reboot.
Oh god, that'd have been... Yeah.
They would have won a lot of points if they had the Enterprise look like that and stuff instead of the JJ prize. However, but they're saying it's Prime. It's not. It's just that simple. Chuck A, member for 29 months at the rank of Commander. So thank you, Commander.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
The best Star Trek show is Trekyards. Aww.
Cool.
See, and we maintain visual canon. Klingon disruptor, motherfucker.
I mean, it's, you know, just off to the side, just on a hanger, you know, just cheeky little Nemesis uniform, you know.
Yeah.
Just off to one side.
I got a lot of shit off to one side.
Yeah.
Laughable. Oh,
that's fine.
don't break anything. Laughable Larry, member for 4 months at the rank of Commander. So thank you again, another Commander. Thanks for the great content as always. Well, thank you for watching. We've been absent this week because there's been a lot of crap going on.
Real life. But you've had some really special videos from the channel, some really good Stranger Worlds discussions, really good debates, and there's even some more next week. They'll come out. We just have to film them. So
yeah.
There's still more for Stranger Worlds Season 1.
Yes. Matt C, $5. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Strange New Worlds has its issues for me, but it is the only Trek show my friends and I all watch. The other shows don't hold their attention. Understandably so. The animated stuff, the humor in Lower Decks isn't for everybody. The animated style of Prodigy is a little too far out of the box for some people. Picard is just Picard. Discovery is really hard to follow at the best of times because it doesn't. There's problems and plot holes everywhere. But yeah, Strange New Worlds is very cohesive, and you can have a general layman's knowledge of Trek and really enjoy Strange New Worlds for sure. So,
well, I was at the London Film Comic Con a few weeks ago, and I was recognised a few times, and I was prompted to have a few conversations on Strange New Worlds. The last episode just come out, and I you tend to say the same things when we do conventions. People ask the same questions. I'm sure you can attest to that. People think and I said many a time to many a person that the sort of the best strength of Strange New Worlds is the fact that it's actually a good television show as well as a decent Star Trek. It's actually a television show with actual stories.
Yeah.
Now, Lower Decks is so dependent on Trek universe that it's not as fun without Star Trek. Prodigy is so much its own thing that they're only starting to bring Star Trek back in that it's not as approachable for Trek fans. Discovery was a big FU at the start, and they're trying to meld into its own thing. It isn't truly its own thing. It is Discovery. It cannot be compared. And Picard is a cluster F of continuing changing ideas and changing things, and let's make Dark Trek with great people who are very positive. It's a problem. But Stranger Worlds is actually a good television show. Yes. I mean, one thing Steve Triers did say that I agreed with: if Picard season 2 wasn't Star Trek, would you watch it? No. I would have clicked off by episode 6. I wouldn't have, or I would have stopped watching, binged the last 6 while on my phone. Like, it was just not a good TV show at all. The Star Trek keeps it higher above water because that's canon, but it wasn't a good TV show,
Yeah.
So
NZ Fade says, did Trekyards ever do episode reviews of Prodigy? Admiral Patrick from DS9 would say, that's a stupid question.
Yes.
Yes, of course we did. Go back and watch them.
And sub-videos, and reviews, and interviews coming up.
Everything. We do it all. George Mangrum says, you can't put flat-screen TVs and cell phones in Downton Abbey and just dismiss it as the tech is better now. Exactly. Period piece. Wow.
Yeah. You wouldn't accept World War I films with machine guns. Where they're doing, John Wick-style reloads.
Yeah.
No, we wouldn't accept it unless you're making a specific thing. This should be no different.
Yeah, an alternate history take on something, maybe. But, yeah. Let's see. Dan Ben says, I find it annoying that some people only watch the cartoon if it's done in an animation style they like. Yeah, there's a few a lot of the animation from the 2000s, just a lot of the shows, I don't like them. And I won't watch them because of that, but there's probably some good stuff there. And when we were going into Prodigy, I was like, oh, well, I don't know about this. But I turned right around right away because Prodigy was just visually stunning on screen. And it knows its canon, it knows its lore, and it shows stuff exactly how it should look. Not reimagined, You see a Kazon shuttle. You see a whole bunch of stuff that's pinpoint accurate, as it should be.
And that show's funny because I don't think Lower Decks is pushing animation to an extreme. Prodigy is genuinely a cutting edge show in terms of some technology they use, and it's freaking glorious. Although I said to Aaron, I said to you, a lot of it's cheats, as you always do, and I wish I had a bigger budget in my films to try and do the same cheats, like a map painting or a this or a that. One of the episodes where they go to a desert planet, and I was watching on the big screen for a review, and I found myself thinking, it's the same rock. There. Same asset, they flipped or rotated. Because so it's the same rock sequence, and it's so blatant. And there's another sequence where it's the second episode or third episode where they're flying and they crash land, and it's the same tunnely mountain thing 8 or 9 times. That's the only big asset they have. But the way they do it, the artistry of getting away with it, allows for a big scale with relatively few assets. And I wouldn't be confident if I was building new environments every single week, and it's amazing what they do, and I really can't wait, because I think they've had a longer, every gap I feel like gives them more time, and I think they are going to keep upping their game as assets start to be pre-made, etc., and ahead of time, and I'm excited.
Well, Space Thing Reckoning,
Cool
fantastic name.
Yeah.
$10. Honestly, though, I like it a lot. I find Strange New Worlds kind of frustrating because it proves that these producers could have been making decent Trek for a while. They just willfully decided not to. Well, yeah.
Well, different showrunner people.
Yeah. Discovery is unapologetically not your typical Star Trek.
Yes.
And they're not gonna be.
Yes. They've got their niche. I don't think new people aren't finding Discovery now. Right? You've either bitten into it or you haven't. I will say, though, that all credit to him. I'd love to know how much he was actually in it. Akiva Goldsman has one of the worst track records of writing quality in all of Hollywood. It's astounding. He keeps getting hired. He seems like a pleasant chap, but his quality of work, if you stand by a record, his record burns houses down with how bad it is. And yet, I think he's...
Same with Alex Kurtzman, though.
Yes, but he has a few hits. But how much was he involved in them? So Strange Worlds, I don't know how involved he was, because if you trust a director and a writer per episode, how much is a showrunner actually involved with the whole thing versus let them do their own thing? So I'd like to know what he actually did, because it ended up as good as it was. I'm sure a lot of it's the art design stuff, like he wants to see this because it's cool and this because it's cool, doesn't care if it's not canon, whatever. But it, despite his interference in some way, it was a good show. I want to see. I'd love to know how much he was actually involved.
Andrew S., $5. I feel that season 2 of Lower Decks felt more confident in that they didn't have to do Remember Berries so much. It definitely was better for it. I don't think there's so much. They weren't leaning on Remember Berries. They were there as a bonus hidden Easter egg. Like 15 per scene, pretty much. Just because they love Trek so much, they wanted to get what they really loved on screen and show their appreciation for everything that came before.
Well, the genius thing about Lower Decks is that they have a car chase through a starbase, which is in itself a silly concept for Trek people. But they can then, the script said they fly through a hangar. Now, one set of people, the Strange Worlds script people, might say, okay, let's design 5 generic kit bash freighters that we don't care about. Who cares? The Lower Decks team says, let's make a Tarkarian ship from DS9 and a Vulcan ship from Enterprise because we need 5 ships. Let's use 5 ships from the shows. They're just set dressing, but they are fan appreciation set dressing. Same amount of time to build, in fact less, because there's only certain detail level to create, and fans are happy. So they're not member berries, they are, you're living in this world, we might as well make this a thing. Why not have Gorns walk around? Why not have Andorians and Tellarites and just populate it with things we know? Because that is the universe. It's the best for that. All the other shows and Prodigy as well, Prodigy especially actually, building things costs money. And the better quality your project is, the harder. Having to do a full body makeup prosthetic for any of the live action shows is going to be tens of thousands, 50, 60,000, whatever. For Prodigy, it's also a high level of resolution, so they've any of those things are difficult. Lower Decks, much easier. Much easier to make these things. So they can throw in all the aliens and really broaden the universe like no other show can. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's Simon Uphill, €10.
Oh.
It's amazing how refreshing the episodic format of Strange New Worlds is in the current TV climate, where season-long stories are the fashion. We've got a good balance with ongoing story elements and character arcs. Yes, they've handled the approach perfectly. Story arcs, like character story arcs, are fine, but the problem with Picard was you pick a story that's not so great and you pad it out over 10 episodes. It gets tiresome after a while. So yeah, the episodic format really works.
And what's doubly sad is that Patrick won't be doing Trek after this, and so, you know, he's getting to that point where he can't even walk around as much. So of the 3 seasons we had left with this character, one of which was a pandemic year, well, both actually, but you know, like that's it. That's the end of his tenure. If it hadn't been pandemic, the budget would have been spent better, and they could have done more. And that's, you know, the legacy of the character will always be scarred by the fact that they were forced to make a super limited show. Hopefully they know we really got to make up for in season 3 and make the biggest blowout we could possibly have. And I did talk to Marina Sirtis at London Film Comic Con. She had some interesting words. I'll politely not. Well, out of respect for spoilers, I will not mention things she said because she is very happy to say things. And I think we all want to be surprised in Picard season 3. But she said some interesting things. Mm-hmm. But it's funny, I was able to, you know, because we keep up with the updates. I was able to say, oh, yes, you've got this scene together, haven't you? And she's like, oh, something. Oh, okay, cool. That's new. But she wished she had more screen time. I'll say that. But that's just any actor. And although I did tell her that she, you know, it was very clear that we both said she was, one of her best performances was in Nepenthe, and she was very pleased by my reaction. I think, you know, a lot of people will say she was best in TNG, but she just kicked so much ass in Nepenthe that, you know, good for her.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Matt C, $5.
Thank you.
Slightly off topic, but if Paramount announces a new Trek show or project at Comic-Con, what would you expect it to be? Personally, Post DS9 interests me. If they announce anything, it's going to be a Section 31 show because they're stupid.
I mean, re-announce after 4 years.
Yeah, or the Starfleet Academy show.
After 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes, with Mary Wiseman as the lead. Oh, God. I could see them announcing another animated series, honestly. Because they weren't pandemic locked at all. Cheaper and quicker to make. The fan reaction has been good. They don't need to make as much money. I could see them announcing maybe even a... Oh God, can you imagine them announcing a TOS era animated show? Like just TOS, not even bullshit, just TOS, not the Enterprise, full canon, full old style, different Connie, different crew, like 10 episodes, season 1, as like a, you know, this team will do it fully, so you can't complain that Strange World isn't doing it. Because that would be a very safe investment. They would get a lot of fans very quickly. I think animated would work tremendously well with the TOS art style. I mean, the lower decks rooms are as low detail as TOS was. So do it in a similar style, they could easily have a TOS spin-off. Go imagine Mike doing a TOS spin-off, just like... Not as much comedy, but...
Please. I'd be happy with that.
Or even imagine like a TOS animated movie. In a similar style as a Lower Decks. And the twist...
Well, they got all the audio recordings from Secret of Vulcan Fury of all the original cast. Turn that into a goddamn movie. They had a lot of the cutscenes done. All the dialogue was recorded. Please, I want to see the Secret of Vulcan Fury, the animated movie. Yes. I would be so happy.
Almost impossible, but I like the idea. You can't turn a game script with...
You be quiet, you.
Okay. But I can imagine, though, you know, announcing a TOS animated movie would be fun because it's also a streaming movie. You don't need to give it too much budget. The art design's already designed. You know, you do some epic... But I think what you do is the twist would be it's not actually a TOS story. It actually takes place in... Like, they go to another era, and that's the gimmick. Or another universe. Like, there's some of the gimmicks. It's not just... That's why it's a cell, because there's a fun twist in it or something. Good thought. Good thought.
Yeah, personally, one I would like to see is an animated style, much... I'm going to say it again, like Love, Death, and Robots. where, and
Ooh.
it's like a what if of Star Trek. What if
Oh
this
God,
happened
yeah.
instead? You
Well,
see the results of a different decision being
especially if you've
made,
still
or
got Patrick. Like, he could do
yep,
voice.
yep.
Into his, I mean, Tom Baker, he's thin, elderly, and can barely walk. He's still doing the audiobooks, as all the whole Doctor Who casts are. That would be smart. It would confuse the canon a bit, because then suddenly you'd have all the...
What ifs happening?
Yeah. You have to, like, do a big screen saying, "This is not canon!" Okay, moving on. Canon
So
with
they should
one
have that
N.
on all the new shows.
But I mean, that would be smart as hell, because then all you have is a gimmick, primary lead. You say we're going to bring one primary from every season. So this episode of the Voyage one, we're going to bring back Chakotay. This one's Kim. This one's Walter Koenig. This, one per thing, and then a secondary. So you get always a famous actor and always a second famous actor. So you kind of have these two echelons to kind of roll with it. And then you can have Stranger World ones right in. That could be the crossover of what if Discovery instead went into the 24th century and they meet Lower Decks? What if the time portal went to the wrong place? Boom, there you go. You got Mariner and Boimler, Mariner and what's her name? Burnham. Mariner and Burnham, hanging out and things.
Well, Bill Barkley says, well, according to Robert Mayer Burnett, there's supposed to be some interesting ship reveals in season 3 of Picard. Hey, you know what? We've been saying season 3 Picard is going to be great for a long time now, way before he did. So, shut up. Stop voting him. Because it'd be, Rob Burnett said this. Rob Burnett. Yeah, but Trekyards was saying it earlier. So be quiet, you. We don't get no credit. Anyway, moving on to the next super chat. Abba Bab throws in $10.
Oh, thank you.
The season-long stories are just not good enough. Not every show is Breaking Bad. Take the Stranger World format and do a post-Nemesis show properly. The beauty of Trek is poor stories can just be bad episodes. Yes, and you can move on from them next week. And yes, it's the problem. And some stories are good for a 2-parter or a 3-parter, but not for a 10-parter. Because you're really leaning on a crutch that's not very solid, and it's going to break. And it usually breaks in the middle. So, yeah. The story for Picard Season 2 was actually a good story. But it should have been 3 episodes. Maybe 4 at the most, in my opinion. So, too much time in the past. We don't want to see that shit. George... hold on. No. Matt Boardman, $10. For me, New Trek has really shown how important the people behind the camera are. Each show has a good cast for the most part, but it is very obvious which shows have the stronger behind-the-scenes crews, or behind-the-camera crews.
Well, yes and no. I think everyone means well for the most part, but with a lot less budget in play, a lot less people above them to make modifications, the lower budget animated shows are allowed to do what they want better, and they've had, whereas other shows, there might be 4 executives saying change this, change that, in their vision, whereas Lower Decks might be 3 guys and they're all Trek fans and they just do it properly.
Yeah. Do you want to change the poll? We
have
139 votes. The poll was, would you vote Discovery as the best of the 5 or any of the other shows? Discovery, 4%. Any of the other 4, 96%. So,
good stuff.
Good stuff. Thank you for voting.
Thank you.
Guys, while he's changing the poll, hit that like button. We have 94 people here with 70 likes. We can do better. I want to get to 100 likes. It should be very easy. If everybody that hasn't hit like right now, because I'm talking to you, hit like. And as Mr. Gigi says, hit that like button. And this is your second reminder to hit that like button because you probably didn't do it the first time.
And what about joining the channel, Stuart?
I'm getting there. That's the other option. There's a during this live. There you go. Remember, hit that join button and see what the options are. Oh, there we go. I'm back. Hit that join button and see what the options are to help us out on a monthly basis, like a subscription type deal. Hit the join button and look at your options, at least. Even if you don't click anything, just click the join button to see what the options are to help us on a monthly basis, which it makes a big deal. So if you guys want to join, please consider doing so. Uh, anyway, 80 likes now. We're only 20 away. We have 101 people here, so we should hit 100 likes. No problem, guys. Just make sure you hit that like button. We'll have another poll. Oh, we got another poll up right now. I will read the poll. Overall, which show is your favorite? Changing Worlds, Prodigy, Picard, Lower Decks. Dun, dun, dun. Go vote. George Mangrum throws in $5. No, please no more TOS era prequels, cartoons or otherwise. I'm tired of people complaining about canon. Well, that's the thing with an anthology animated series. You could make it a what if. You can make it look visually any way you want. I'd want to keep a lot of it canon, though. But once you go off script with the what if choice, then anything can happen. And you can explore, you can have fun, you can play around with an era that you might appreciate. And actually just outright break canon if you want. It wouldn't be a bad thing. That's the point of the show.
Well, it's not canon, therefore you can't even break canon. That's the joy of it.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I mean. It's a sandbox to play in. You can do whatever you want. Space Thing Reckoning puts in $10.
Oh, thank you.
I want Strange New Worlds, but set in the 32nd century. New crew, new era, maybe even new Enterprise. I'll be really disappointed if they don't do anything with the time period outside of Discovery. Yeah, they've opened themselves up to that time period now, so they can do other stuff there.
The thing is, it's so removed from the Star Trek that we know that it's
so was Discovery.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking. That's what I mean.
I mean, season 1.
Yes, but I'm not going to connect with that as much because everything is different, everything is irrelevant, everything is so far away. It's sort of unrelatable by definition. That's why it's fun, because the art is meant to be our beloved heroes in an unrecognizable era, and you try and look for the small things, etc.
Christian Montgomery, who's been a member for 20 months at the rank of captain. Thank you, Captain Sir.
Amazing.
Says, I wish current Trek would have better cinematography and longer episodes like this season of The Orville. Yeah, today's episode of The Orville is like an hour and 25 minutes long.
Yet to watch that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be doing a first reaction. I was going to do one tonight, but Sylvia has to do some training upstairs, so I won't be able to. So I'll do that tomorrow night at 10.
I mean, some cinematography is really good. I'm not gonna. That's a broad thing because every director's different. So that's too broad a thing to say, right? And longer episodes. I mean, some of Picard is way too long. You know what I mean?
Even some of the 35-minute long episodes are way too long in Picard.
I would love to see a 40-minute Lower Decks episode. Give them longer. Give them a movie. I think they've joked about it, but give them a full feature-length story would be phenomenal. It would be a different show or different because the structure of that would be radically different, but still be fun to see them kind of play.
Matt Boardman, $5. It's amazing how DS9 could do a 7-season story arc, then Discovery and Picard can't handle a season-long arc. Yeah.
I mean, in fairness though, they tried doing a several season arc and they sort of swapped tracks a bit, and then they committed. So it was kind of like the first 3 a bit wishy-washy for the grand arc, and then they cling on, and then they sort of they weren't going to do a war until a little bit later. But then once they committed, but it's kind of remarkable how, because they weren't going as deep into it early on, so you can look back and say, oh, that was probably a lead into this thing, season 6. Well, no, it wasn't. It's just because they sort of tried to make things fit at the end. It was Discovery reboots every time, so there isn't a tie-in because they keep completely resetting. And 10 episodes, each one has to be part of the puzzle, versus 25, 24, where they can just sort of play and move and
Yep. And even those later seasons of DS9 had episodic story structure.
Very few though.
Yeah, well, sometimes there was a B and C story going on at the same time. The BC story could be an episodic thing to help you remember that's the episode I'm talking of. Story over thing, so just saying. Doc McGillicuddy, $5.
Thank you.
Strange New Worlds dunks on them all.
Just wish I had better canon. Like the Gorn, etc.
Yeah. Jack Morris, $5. Thank you, Jack. Hello, sirs.
Hello.
I'd like to see a series on Seven's command of the Stargazer. Use the Strange New World episodic format with the Borg piece as the long arc. I'd watch a mini-series, like 6 episodes of something with her. But unfortunately, she brings along the baggage of Raffi, and I can't freaking stand Raffi. And they try to make Raffi better. I mean, they kind of...
Sometimes she's better.
There's moments in Picard Season 2 where she's better, but overall, she's just irritating.
And I gotta say, Jack, that's funny that from 45 minutes of screen time of the Stargazer and several minutes of Seven being in command vibe, that you're that inclined to get that new show. That's amazing. That those small things, the potential you saw was so much. But I mean, I'm sure she will be capped. I mean, that they're clearly resetting again to put that in for season 3. Well, I'm sure they're going to keep shaking things up for season 3. I'm sure it's going to evolve as it goes.
Yeah. Dan Ben is Prodigy in Prime Timeline.
Yeah. Yes.
We don't know yet.
Well,
but
I mean, yeah.
It links to it for sure.
But there's time shenanigans, which mean what is and is not.
Exactly.
Like the main thing is, but which bit's the main thing? Do they come from the main thing? Do they leave the main thing?
They had the luxury of knowing they were getting 20 episodes.
Or
40 episodes from the get-go.
Yep.
So they wrote this story to fill that gap, like the whole 40 stories or episodes. Yeah. So it's a cohesive story, and it's a long format.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they knew their first 10, then their first 20. Each 10 is a mini story within the 40, and then 20 is a story within the 40. It's astounding. It's great. I love it. They might have written, 20 to 40, but by the time they released the first batch, I don't know. But they knew where they were going. Amazing.
Christian Montgomery, $2. A Lower Decks time travel anthology movie.
Mariner goes back via the Guardian and meets this person and does this thing. Wow.
Yeah. I'd be down. They could make it work for Lower Decks for sure.
Hey, Guardian. Hey. My name is... What's his name?
Carl.
My name is Carl. Hey, Carl. I want to go back to the 14th century, please, Carl. But there are Klingons there. Yeah.
What kind of Klingons? The ugly, long-headed Klingons, or the smooth-head ones? Or what kind of Klingons?
Obviously, Mariner would know this, so she's like,
yes.
Are they the purple Klingons, or the smooth, or the? Yes. That's funny.
Let's see. Sean O'Sullivan, €2. Want a TOS version of Adventures in Space and Time.
Oh, yeah.
Adventures in Space and Time.
I think it's a Doctor Who story doc where it takes place. It's actors playing the actors playing the characters. So the first Doctor is being played by an actor who's playing William Hartnell, and tells the story of how the first episode got made. So everyone's kind of look-alike, and so it'd be people showing us how TOS got started, while also recreating certain scenes from TOS as part of the story.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be beautiful. And obviously they've got the sets already built. Literally half the budget. Ticonderoga. Go there, film on the sets, boom, you've got, wow, that's done.
That's a great idea.
Damn, yeah. CBS, sell it. Go.
Snoopy McQueen, $5. 1, Strange New Worlds. The rest are garbage. Wow. Lower Decks is not garbage. Prodigy is not garbage.
Hot take, isn't it?
Picard
that might be the hottest take I've heard all day.
Yeah. Picard and Discovery, the argument could be made, but the other 3 are definitely not garbage. But it's all subjective, so...
But can they be hauled away as garbage?
I mean, some should.
But I have a announcement, breaking news, which I have to screen cap and also read. So give me a moment. This was just posted on one of the prop forums.
While you're doing that,
yeah,
two likes to get to 100. Oh, and speaking of if you're following the Tomy Enterprise thing, they've lowered it from 2,500 to 2,000 now with 3 days left. They need like 187 people to buy one to get to the 2,000. They keep it was a poorly executed campaign. But hey.
You fuck, that was the announcement.
Yeah.
You stole my thunder there, Stuart.
Oh, that's what you're talking? Oh.
Yes. Nick Stan says, Dear Star Trek fans, at Tomy, we are very passionate about bringing quality products and collectibles to our customers. This was less than an hour ago. We also understand and appreciate the passion of Star Trek fans and the collectibles they want. For the reasons, we've lowered the target again for a 32-inch Star Trek Enterprise die-cast metal replica from 2,500 to 2,000. We are very determined to bring this amazing collectible to the fans who have supported it from day one. The deadline for the pre-order period is still July 24th at 9 PM PDT, whichever that is. So please make sure you place an order before then. I, in fact, then responded, he responded back to me saying shipping out of the country would be too high, so most people just wouldn't want to buy that. So this is the campaign. So yes, they've raised 1.13 million, almost 1.14 in a month, which now brings with 94%, which is darn close. 1,600 people, 3 days to go, and this is for an exceptional enterprise.
They showed off the box, the collectible box that's coming in today on their live.
Yes.
Hello.
And I hate nice boxes because I have no room for them. And unfortunately, I have to get rid of some of them. So stop with the nice boxes. Send it to me in brown fucking cardboard box. I don't want a nice box that I want to struggle to whether I should keep it or not.
But yeah, this is a lovely piece because everything kind of works. I think that's still the gimmick.
Yeah, the hangar bay doors open and stuff.
I don't really care if it's die-cast metal or not, because it makes it heavy and unwieldy. Personally.
20 pounds. It's 20 pounds, man.
Yeah, that's not a benefit to me. I mean, it's strong, but...
Well, that's what Tomy specializes in, is die-cast toys. So...
Because, you know, the pylons can still break and will still break if they're hit, and so will the deflector dish. But it's more just that everything is sort of part of it. And I mean, how
for the price, I'm going to say it's $599 US, which a lot of people are balking at, but the Polar Lights 350 scale kit is $150 for the kit, $200 for the lighting kit, plus all the paint, plus all the, if you want to get the Paragraphics photo etch for it, which I did for mine, you're looking at the same price for a plastic
and your
one
time in making it
that you have to make yourself. Or if you get somebody to build it professionally, then you're looking at well over $10,000, $15,000 with all their time and labor put into it. So yeah, this is definitely worth the price. 100%. There's no argument. Playmobil wasn't. It was way too expensive, and they've all been reduced in price now.
Oh, how much?
I was saying, you've seen them for $200 now.
What were they? They were 400 originally?
They're 500. 500 US, $700 Canadian.
Now, does that tell you that either their profit margin was insane, the markup, or that they have now stock, and therefore they're like, well, if we don't shift it, we have to lower it, because at that point it's under half the value. Is it just they? What do you think?
I don't know, man, but I made a video, is it worth the cost? And it wasn't. Got 32,000 views. They sent me one as a result of that video. I re-reviewed it and still said, yeah, it's still not worth the cost, guys. It's worth a little more than I thought it would be, but it's still not where. And sure enough, it didn't remain at full price long. Pretty much everywhere that has it has dropped its price on that. So it's the same size lengthwise, but it's not accurate because the shape of the saucer is all wonky because they got the bridge in there and stuff. So
was it worth it now for 200?
200, yes, absolutely. 300 is kind of pushing it, but it's still,
because 200 reasonable. You're getting to toy cost, expensive toy. But I mean, you buy Lego sets for more, and they're toys. Although Bill says this has no lights and sounds, so it's not for him.
It's got full lights. All the lights work, and it has saucer separation as well. It's got rotating Zard collectors. I think it does have sound.
I would assume so.
Sounds iffy, but it does definitely have lights, and even the bridge is lit up in the little dome and stuff. Yeah, it's all lit up. So it's really clever the way they hid the buttons in the struts as well. The little squares in the struts are actually the buttons. You can't even tell they're buttons.
Nice. So, I mean, yeah, guys, if you want one, support it. I mean, these sorts of things should be made, and it is extremely expensive in the general sense, right? Fine, it is. But
yeah,
this is the most classic Enterprise. You're never going to get one that's going to be this well loved. So if this thing can't make this many, it's only America, which is hugely lacking. Because if it was actually, classic CBS problem, if it was the whole world, I'm sure they would have gone past well past their goal.
5,000 goal. Yeah.
So if it was $100 less, they would have got it. If it was other parts of America, the world would have got it. It's a weird thing to limit themselves, but yeah, postage. I mean, postage. What if it? Would you pay $400 postage for a $500 item?
Yes, probably.
See, that's why I said if you're rich, you can afford it.
NZ Fade says, "Why does the Enterprise have rust on it?" That is the very first production test one they did. They tried to do a weathering thing and they overdid it. So there's actually I think they're in the second or third phase of the production version now. The final one will be much more refined.
Yeah, the rust should be absurdly subtle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, I actually have one ordered. Hopefully, going to have it delivered to a friend of mine who lives in Michigan, right across the border. In which case, I'll just next summer when it arrives, I'll just drive over, visit him for like a weekend.
Yeah.
And just bring it back and just say, it was my birthday gift, or something.
And as you go over the border, the back of your car is just weighed down.
Yeah.
It's so heavy. But no, go support it, because I mean, if this is popular, I mean, they could always do other things. I mean, obviously it's not been popular, but if it's got, then they can do other things potentially, that are smaller and more and cheaper.
They have smaller ones. They did a live. They've got a whole bunch of different small Star Trek kits coming out, like 2-packs of like the small.
The wrapper.
The small. I said 2-packs, not 2-packs. So yeah, they actually did a live on that yesterday or the day before, showing these different kits. So they're gonna have more Star Trek stuff, regardless whether this one goes through or not.
Cool.
But yeah, they're pretty impressive. So I think it's a good time to announce it too with the Eagle Moss thing. So.
Yeah, because especially with if they actually had lights in, like LEDs are so small, right? You could have an Enterprise D half the size with lights, because you just have a whole bank of lights, and then you cut out the window. Like it's just one big thing. You could do it. You could because then Eagle Moss never did anything lights or separation. Imagine Prometheus in die-cast metal. It was bizarre lit and everything lit and it separated. That'd be great. Just has to be a bit bigger for everything to fit in. Anyways, you stole my thunder, Stuart, but we just had a good discussion about it.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
And yeah, it's not technically rust on the hull. It's just space debris and garbage.
They just don't clean it enough.
It's weathering.
Yeah.
Simon Uphill. It's in 10 euros. Excuse me. It says, I'd like a series sometime post-Dominion War to explore the state of the areas of the galaxy affected. Haven't had any info on the new shows, and the war like that would have left profound changes. DS9 fan. Yes, 100% agree. They should have just started Discovery post-Nemesis.
The thing is, there are the obvious ones that there must be a reason why they haven't been made. That's why I don't even bother recommending them as shows. But guys, do vote in our poll, because I'd love to get a few hundred votes on this. I asked, overall, which is your favourite? Stranger Worlds, Prodigy, Picard, or Lower Decks? Do you want to read out the results so far with 119 votes?
Coming in first place is Strange New Worlds at 60%. Lower Decks at 36%. Prodigy at 3%, which is surprising and upsetting to me. And Picard at 1%. Discovery's not even worth talking about in this poll, so...
Isn't that telling? 1%. That's never a thing here. There's always at like 4 or 5. That's one person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bill Barkley says with the saucer separation that the saucer must have landing struts. It does. It always has. That's what those 2 eyebrows are. They fold down, and then the neck part is the other third one. So yeah, it's always been that way. This model doesn't have those though, because it's got a separate display stand to just display it separated. But on the stand.
Okay,
But it's cool to see a TOS ship that actually has a separation feature.
it's crazy.
That's a big thing.
Well, it's like, how do they keep adding value? That's one way of doing it. And then just to give some context, it's less than the cost of a tricorder. A hero tricorder that you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, speak to value, a full metal ship or a tricorder. Okay, one's going to sit in your garage, not doing anything, a tricorder actually use and do in films. But, like, the value proposition, it's not that much when you start going to high-end Trek merchandise. It's actually affordable. Just tricorders are very expensive. Dear me. Okay, Stuart, finally onto the topic.
Yeah. We've talked about it quite a bit.
Wow. Yes, but which do you think is the best then, and why? Or which one does what best, maybe, and then what does what best overall?
It's very close for me. I'm still probably going to have to put Lower Decks as number one, just because it's visually canon, perfect. Boom. They keep things the way they should be. A lot of the hidden Easter eggs are great. Followed by Strange New Worlds, just because of the storytelling, the acting, the characters. Third place would be Prodigy, because Prodigy's fantastic for the same reasons as Lower Deck is. They keep what's supposed to look canon looks canon. There's no explanation for what doesn't look canon yet, but I think we're going to have a real explanation as to why it doesn't look the way you'd think it would look. So Prodigy's really been hitting out of the park. After that is... See, the last two are rough, because Discovery's got 4 seasons. Picard's only got 2, but Picard has, like, Picard and 7 of 9. And Rios was a standout, but...
Well, the question for that, though, Picard has 4 good episodes in 20.
Yeah, I know.
Only 4. Does Discovery have more than 4 good episodes in 40? 50?
Yes. So, yeah, I think Picard is my last place. That's kind of what I was struggling with. I hate that Discovery's not in last place. Now, after season 3 of Picard, things will probably change, because season 3 is going to...
You mean season 1 of Picard?
Yeah, it should have been season 1.
Because we're gonna just not talk about...
That
It's
would be
kind of like it's TNG to some extent. Like, you don't talk about season 1 if you talk about TNG. That's not so... Did that just be 2 seasons of Picard?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like Discovery Klingons, we just don't ever talk about them again. You know, we've moved past them.
Yeah. So that's my list. How about you?
No, it's the fact that Lower Decks can achieve so much story in under half the time of Strange New Worlds, with characters that we liked quicker than Strange New Worlds because they had less time per episode, less episodes, as in like equivalency, and we liked them all, and all the side characters. You know, that's impressive beyond belief, and it's obviously fully canon, and it tries to be clever, and it tries to be whatever, you know. One of the recent Marvel TV shows felt so... Like Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight, great show. You saw Moon Knight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Great show. Doesn't connect to Marvel in any way, really. Right? So you can enjoy its own show, but... Okay. Whereas then you throw a show that actually does connect to the universe. The canon is what ups its quality. You know, oh, there's this. Oh, this links in. Oh, this is depth there. If you don't get that in Moon Knight, it's only going to be as good as it is. And it feels sort of hollow in a good... Like, it's good in a hollow way. Stranger Worlds is excellent, but it's not trying to be canon. It's not trying to work inside Star Trek. It's trying to do its own Star Trek. Lower Decks is 100% Star Trek and trying to do more Star Trek. And it might even show Stranger Worlds stuff for the funds. You know, it's obviously number one just because of everything it achieves and succeeds is astounding. I mean, I think that the gap of, you know, there's best Star Trek, best storytelling, but I also enjoy the stories. I enjoy the format and the, you know, the crafted writing is just so extreme in Lower Decks. It has to be 24 minutes. You know, they don't have time to waste. They don't have time to pad. They've got time to whatever. You know, they fitted more story in one episode of Lower Decks than 3 or 4 of Picard. Easily, you know.
Snoopy McQueen, $2. Prodigy and Lower Decks is good. Prodigy and Lower Decks are good. Yes, they are. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Stranger World gets second just because it's, you know, a fun, really good
It's what
show.
we asked for. The fans demanded it. They brought it to us, and they did it in a way that works. So thank you. You know, you got to give them props for when they do something right, and for listening to the fans, and then making it episodic, returning to Star Trek kind of feel. Boom.
I think with Prodigy seasons 1.5 and 2, I think I'll prefer it to Stranger Worlds because of how it's going to do clever things and use canon and like I'm excited to see what they're going to do because it is just this broader canon. Because, you know, they took a few even to get into it. You know? Yeah, but instantly you think Picard's better than Discovery just by seeing Patrick in this thumbnail. I'm sure you had the same gut reaction.
Yeah, that's why it was difficult for me, because you got back 7 of 9, you got back Picard. It's like, oh, okay.
But then you're thinking, oh, but only episode 1 and 10 were good in Picard season 2. And episodes 1 and 7 were good in season 1. That's it, basically. Yeah, no, I think I'll agree. It has to be Lower Decks, then Strange Worlds, Prodigy, Discovery, then Picard. Because Discovery really did pull itself up from its bootstraps.
Again, let's see the fans a bit. Some things, yeah.
And also, I don't know if you read, I'm sure you did the article, Sneaker Martin Green. Hold on! I'm sure you got the notification too.
I did, yes.
YouTube is our master. Follow its orders. You can do it, Stuart.
Oh, I can. Oh.
Yes.
And now, word from no one's sponsor. Hi, we're back.
And if you think that will clean out the gout, buy it today. The link is down below.
Yes.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, Sneaker Martin Green.
Yes,
she recently had an article saying, "I hear you guys," because she was very combative. I think as the fans were so negative on their bad portrayal, they felt more defensive. But as they make better Trek, they get a more muted response because of course they do. And so she was less defensive against the people who don't like Discovery, and she said, you know, we've finally found our voice. We finally you know got what works for us. We've got our audience, and you know we listen to the people who don't like because they're passionate. Which is a far better way of saying, shut the fuck up, you idiots. So be racist because I'm black. That's why I hate this show. It's like, well, that's a terrible thing to say and a horrible opinion. So I'm good for her for simmering down because you know she was not the problem. None of the cast were.
Yeah, exactly. 5-0 Charlie says Lower Decks draws so heavily on canon that it's hard for me to rank Stranger World over it. Only reason Stranger World is number 1 is because it's live action and it's a continuation of The Cage.
Yeah, but Lower Decks is a continuation of Nemesis and TNG and like that's we got to see Titan, you know what I mean?
And all these shows have people. Well, I guess Stranger World doesn't. I won't say old cast, but you got Janeway and Prodigy. You got Patrick and Picard. You got Stranger World is the outlier for that one, but
although in theory they've got the old cast of being Spock, Pike, and Number One, and
Uhura. Yeah.
Well, but maybe actors from the other shows. Being from Discovery.
Well, but
I mean that's like you
Squadron Course
$2 if you were doing the same metric.
Yeah, Squadron Course $2. Would Stranger Worlds beat Lower Decks if visuals match TOS canon? Yes, probably for me. If the Enterprise was exactly the same, it would be a lot harder. But even then, there's so much canon stuff in Lower Decks and such a love for the whole entire franchise of Star Trek, including the animated series. It would still be tough to make that decision. Lower Decks still might be first.
Well, Stranger Worlds, at least they haven't done holodecks and some things that break the whatever. Lower Decks has already allowed us to have other stories within the same story. So it's already got way more creative freedom than Stranger Worlds can in terms of ooh, wow. So I don't think, even if it was a mostly TOS looking show, it would then feel like a TOS spin-off. but TOS is already so good. Lower Decks is a universe existing spin-off everything. So I don't think, even if it was looking canon, I think Lower Decks would be better. Just because we've seen TOS, why do we need Stranger Worlds? Because it is a visual reboot, it's bringing its own thing. It has its own value because you have TOS, the canon, and you have Stranger Worlds, the visual alternate canon, advanced fantasy, zoom, do your own thing. Like, they're so different that they have their own unique place. If they're the same, they'd be, well, this is just a TOS prequel. You know, it kind of helps it be so different, which might have been an intention. But obviously it's not visual canon. Moving on. I know it's not. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well. I don't know.
Do you think, like, what would make not saying what would make Stranger Worlds better, what would make Lower Decks go down in our ratings? Like, what could they do to mess it up from the top spot? There's a specific way of saying that.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because you know that they're not going to.
That's no. That's not what I asked.
I know that's what you asked. I know what you asked.
Yes.
I don't know what could do it. Except, like, have them be on a Kelvinverse ship for some reason and just no explanation.
They'd make fun of it.
That's all they continue on that ship for the rest of the series. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question because
that's what I'm asking.
I know the team involved. How about you then? I want to hear your answer for that question because you don't have one.
That's a bold assertion, isn't it? I feel like disrespecting the characters more would be a shame. You know, having Boyman be always the butt of jokes in a derogatory way if he was then played as the true little bitch. Because it's always about that fine line. He's actually absurdly qualified. That's the joke.
Yeah.
In certain situations, he's a Don. He beats everyone else. But he's also a klutz. It balances out well. I think if he was then made to be the pathetic man that everyone hated, that would hurt the show a lot. If Tendi got overly annoying, just like bad joke, stupid, like waste of a character, those two things combined would be bad. Maybe, and I think also just like if Mara became captain, not because she couldn't, but just because it would break the format. So I think, you know, if they push the characters in directions that would not balance each other out, that would be problematic. And yeah, if they made fun of TOS more, I think. If they actively had an episode where they have a TOS design and they say, what the hell is this relic? And they throw in a Stranger Worlds version. So, oh no, this is how it should look. Like, if they actively do a visual canon, retcon canon of TOS in Stranger Worlds, because they were told to, that I think would hurt the show drastically. Because you're like, oh, you bowed to the corporate pressure.
I could see them doing something like that, like a TOS version of a ship in a museum and then the exact same version of the ship but in Discovery style, walking by it. But they would make a joke about how Discovery one looks awful. Like, I know the team involved. I'm not...
But if they were told to... I mean, their paycheck's being paid by CBS. No. If they were told only now from now on show Stranger World Enterprise, if that was clearly a thing, because that did not exist before this, if they were told to do that... and they showed the TOS, or even they walked on a Stranger Worlds Enterprise, I think that would hurt me so much, because I would know that they didn't want to do it, they were told to do it, and therefore everything else they were told to do might factor. That would really hurt it for me.
I guess, yeah.
Because then it says TOS is dead. If they can't do TOS canon properly, TOS is dead. And that's the entire legacy of Trek damaged. Just because one man or two men or 3 women or whatever, they said so, and they do not have the right to break 50 years of almost 60 years of love just because they want to. Monsters. Yeah. So,
guys, yes, it would. We want to hear your thoughts on that, though, guys. Put it in the comments. Super chat, please. Like another $50 if possible. So a couple of tens would be fantastic. We'd like to kind of hit our minimums. So if you could help us out, send us a 5, a 10, whatever, and let us know your thoughts on what could Lower Decks do to make it fall out of the first place. What could Stranger Worlds do to make it fall out of your first place if it is your first place?
That's the better question. Although it's funny that literally my thing to ruin Stranger Worlds Lodex would to include Stranger Worlds in it, which was my number second. Isn't that a weird statement?
Yeah. No. I see what you mean on all fronts on that one.
Yeah. Let it be in its own pocket universe. That's what Stranger Worlds is. It's its own thing. Ignore it. Like Discovery with its Klingons and everything else, ignore it and move past it, you know? Let it enjoy itself, but not whatever. I think what would hurt Stranger Worlds if they threw in Discovery Klingons and doubled down. That, I think, would be a big kick in the nuts.
They're not going to, though.
No, they're really not. But
they can't. They're not that stupid.
They can. They really can, but they
can
won't.
Have one in the background of a D7, like call it the captain of the D7. You see a Klingon. Working at one of the stations is the Discovery Klingon. I could see them doing something like that as a, hey, these do exist in our universe, but here's an actual Klingon. They're not going to double down on that. They're not going to have all just those Discovery Klingons.
And they've always sold all the props and costumes, which you know they're not going to do more if they sell all the props and costumes, at least as a big thing. But Dan says, Lodex can't reference Captain April for them to show because Strange Worlds changed him. Or they can make a joke out of he was in a transporter accident and he changed race. I mean, it's a bold thing to do, but, you know, he was black first, then became white when he got old as part of the transporter thing. I mean, Michael Jackson can do it.
Or the other way around, he was white and became black.
Well, no, because TOS is after. Amateur is after Stranger World, so it'd have to be black to white.
Oh, yeah, okay. You're right, yeah.
I mean, the weird thing to do, but they could do it and link the canons. But no, I think one thing Stranger Worlds could, should, and might do is have L'Rell back in actual Klingon makeup. That would be a testament. Like normal Klingon art design, no, you know, full normal skin color, normal hair, big boobage you'd expect of a Klingon warrior, like the classic look. That would be incredible, and I bet you it'd be her best performance, cause she could talk. Like, that would be really smart of them. It'd be the reverse, the DS9, who showed the 3 Klingons in their TNG version from the TOS. So, it'd be kind of like bringing them back in. Oh, no, I guess it'd be the equivalent. But they did it once, just bring the rail back in, but put in the correct makeup. And then the actress have more headshots for conventions, because they're entirely different looks. Well, she had 3. You know, bald head that's giant, small head with hair, because apparently her head can shrink, and then normal Klingon. Perfect.
Well, the only reason she had the big head at the beginning with no hair is because she didn't want to shave her hair. She tucked it into her marsupial pouch bald cap that's built into Klingons. So her hair was all there. It was just making her head look big. And when you take it all out, then you're like, that's how. That's why.
No, I just mean they designed them to have the sensors, and the skulls are bigger, and
I'm just making a joke.
It's a good joke. So you think so they should have had season 2 should have had L'Rell like cut her scalp and the hair comes out. It's like, we are no longer and war, and it comes out. It's like
I never wanted to shave it anyway, so I just put on this thing.
Yeah. I was gently modified myself to have a big head.
Donnie Pearson says, I'm totally fine with Adrian Holmes' portrayal of Bob, April, and Strange, to be honest.
That's good.
So are we. He's great.
Just making a canon-to-canon joke. Because Discovery could do that. No, he's great. He was my 4th favourite character, 5th favourite character.
Yeah.
I hope he's in more. We said I really want to do a flashback in Cage costume. They've set precedent. Do it.
And Jeremy Caulfield, I agree. Strange New Worlds should have TOS Klingons, Imperial Klingons look out of place in TOS setting.
Both.
They need to do both.
Always
and
both.
They can do both. They can do both, and they should. We've said that since Discovery started. They could have corrected it when you went to Kronos, and we see like all
Kronos. But not just that. I mean, it's interesting. They in a very gentle retcon, whatever, and it might be a test of precedent. In Stranger Worlds, last episode we saw Romulans with TNG makeup, but we know they had not TNG makeup at that point. So you would assume then that's them saying, no, they always look like this, we're going to ignore the TOS look. So I think if you were going to see Klingons, they would say, we'll just be safe rather than sorry. Because people might have a very slight word to say, oh, TOS Klingons. But I think you'd have an 80-20 split of, okay, that makes sense, have TNG Klingons for TOS. I think that would be not a big deal for that.
But that's one of the things I liked about Picard when they did Elnor, is they made him just look like a TOS Romulan.
Oh, that's true.
Instead of putting the prosthetics on.
That is true. That's true. I always forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, we say both because you create the class structure and it becomes super interesting.
Needs to be both. Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
Jasper Jedi, $10. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Personally, the characters are most important to me. So if Strange New Worlds did something very against character, example, Uhura and Spock doing something that they inexplicably would not do, that could ruin Strange New Worlds for me. Yeah, exactly. Those are established characters. You need to be careful. But at the same time, you need to I'm kind of liking the softer side of Spock.
Yeah.
So we never saw that in TOS, really. So, but he's building towards that. That's more stoic Spock. Something happens to him where he takes on that more logical role.
I mean, he clearly, gets out of love with his wife, future wife. I mean, they obviously get colder to each other to the point where, having a divorce. I mean, it's interesting though because the canon is gonna last past any individual show. So you hurt canon, you're hurting all 50 years. A character is so specific. Like, do we really care if Una is hurt as a character? She has very little longevity. So I agree, characters are very important. But how do you ruin a show if they make, Ortega's a racist? It's like, it wouldn't damage the show as a whole show, but just make her character less good. You have to do a lot of character damage to, damage the show. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. I think certainly if you made Pike an unlikable character, if you made Pike Michael Burnham, that would be a problem. In terms of characterization.
Simon Uphill, member for 5 months, the record captain. Thank you so much, Simon, for your
very helpful. Thank you.
your service. The worst thing either Strange New Worlds or Lower Decks could do for me would be to adopt crappy, razor-thin Season 1 arcs. Disco Klingons in Strange New Worlds would be second worst. Yeah, but neither of those are structured for that long, serialized storytelling like Picard and stuff was. So, but yeah, I can see if they changed to that, there would be a problem. Like a big bad that overarcs the entire series, or season, like Discovery did. And not Discovery Season 4 had the opportunity to be really great. Keep the same story.
And the last one was great. The last one was great.
Yes.
Just
keep the same story and have it resolve at the end, fine. But have other little things you're doing during the course of the season to break it up, instead of just dragging on the stupidest plot points.
You know how we said they could just go and do episodics where they go and help planets that rejoin the Federation?
Yes.
Every other week?
Yep.
They can go anywhere in the Federation. They go to the Delta Quadrant and help the Krenim come back, etc. It's unlimited potential, and they've squandered it hugely. Yeah, I mean, I think Lower Decks is building season-on-season arcs. They're getting more complicated because they can, and we know one 4-letter thing that's going to come back in Lower Decks. That how the hell you play them? I feel like Mike's going to play them in a big way.
Oh yes, yeah.
There you go. That's only going to be big. So
yeah,
cool.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Glad you got that.
Yeah, we know some stuff about some of the shows, unfortunately, or fortunately. It's kind of
just enough to be excited, not enough to actually know anything.
And it's hard not to say things that you know.
But we've done very well for 5 years. So I knew about the time travel. I knew about the Mirror Universe stuff by pre-episode 1 of Discovery yet.
Yeah.
We saw the IMDb posting of a Mirror guy episode 2, but we respectfully reported it because it'd be spoilers. Gugh. But yeah, season-wide arc. I mean, I want to see Cybok as an arc. As season 2, I think it'd be phenomenal. Unless it's not, obviously. Give us some Telosians. Give us a Telosian subplot. When we had we had the plot of season 1 was obviously Pike's fate, and it was so minimally done that it was just sort of there. It was just there.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes up 2 episodes heavily, and lead a bit here and there, but it's almost forgotten at some points, and that's okay.
Jasper Jedi, member for 4 months at the rank of Commander. Thank you, Jasper Jedi. Says, question. Prime Lorca appearance on Strange New Worlds? Opinions? I'm 100% down for it. Even though a lot of people say, "Oh, Primal Orca is dead." Well, he might be, but I would love to see a Primal Orca appearance on Strange New Worlds. There's no confirmation 100% that he's dead. So
I mean, every character is dead until you say they're not and give us a reason.
exactly.
Like
yeah.
Una's dead in TNG unless she isn't.
Yeah.
You know, the situation they told us in Discovery is like 99% he's dead because it was an insanely dead situation. But they can just retcon it and say, oh yeah, there was a cloaked ship that beamed him out at the last minute to torture him. That's it. That's all you have to do. There is so little you have to do. It'd be a cop-out, and it'd be like they put too much finality in him dying. It'd be more interesting that Mirror Him comes back and Myceal's made him good or something, so you can have the same character we know. I don't know if Jason Isaacs would play a goodie as well. I don't know if he ever plays a goodie, and Prime Lord could be a good guy, and I don't know if he could play a good guy so well.
I think he could.
I don't know if have you ever seen him as a goodie? He has a sort of
when we
hard
spoke
edge
to him
to
in
him.
person, he's such a nice guy in person.
Well, he wasn't nice to me,
Nice
was
always...
he, Stuart?
That's because I threw you under the bus.
Yeah!
That's okay.
You threw me under the Discovery Shuttle, Stuart.
Anyway.
You prick.
That's a story. Bill Barkley says, have the Tholians appeared in Strange New Worlds yet? No, and I think they should. I think there was a little hint that maybe they had laid a trap in the episode The Serene Squall, because I don't think that was the Serene Squall's trap. So I would love to see them, because in TOS, yeah, they don't know much about them, but they know that they like their punctuality. Spock comes through with a few things about the Tholians that he knows. So yes, Tholians are ripe for the picking for Strange New Worlds, much more so than the Gorn were. Mm-hmm. So they need to bring the Tholians back for Strange New Worlds. I think that's prime storytelling stuff right there.
And you know, prime Gorn and Tholian could fight inside the show as well. You know, you introduce both, and they we don't know. There's not a Gorn Tholian war in this era. I mean, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
John McWutt says, I mean, he seemed nice when he was pretending to be Prime Lorca. Yeah, it was nice with a little bit of a hard-ass cynicism to him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm semi-joking. It's just, I
know.
He would be such a different character because he's so unlikable as Lorca on purpose. Yeah. So he'd have to be radical, which is good for an actor to be entirely different. You know.
He was a good guy in Event Horizon. Yes, he was. Yeah.
Oh, was he in Event? God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. And Bill Barkley says the Tholians appeared in Enterprise. Yes.
They were great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The ship was a brilliant design.
Yeah.
Although to make you happy, I did actually pre-order Event Horizon 4K Collector's Edition Blu-ray.
Nice.
I'm not even the hugest fan of it. I haven't seen it since I was probably 10, so... And it's not really a 10-year-old sort of film.
Yeah, I wish they would be able... I wish they could find the lost footage that was cut out, because the director's cut would be awesome. Because there's a lot changed for that, and there's a lot of footage cut out that's actually lost now. So
yeah, there is. Yeah, so I think I haven't seen it since DVD quality or TV quality. So seeing the miniature in 4K, and just the set design, and the gruesome shit in 4K, that'll be worth doing. But I also pre-ordered Live Die Repeat or Edge of Tomorrow, which is now finally coming out in 4K. That's a great movie. It really is, and seeing although they didn't do the CG in 4K, I wouldn't think, but that I think would be really good in 4K. And both collector's editions, they're a bit expensive, but it's like I pre-ordered both.
Yeah. Matt says, "Wait, have we heard this story? Now I'm intrigued about Sam's Jason Isaacs adventure. We've told it a few times, yes."
I told it at the convention twice because people. It was the greatest Stuart hates me joke.
I don't hate you, man.
I mean, that event was so different. 20 bucks and we'll recount the story, which I think's fair because we are almost at a minimum.
Yeah, we're still like 40 away from a minimum, but yeah, 20 would be great. Tomy Enterprises at 95%. Yes, Collector Chris, we talked about that earlier. They've lowered their goal.
There's a whole segment. about that.
Just hoping my credit card has enough on it on the 24th. If available.
We'll just get paid, so that should be...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and you'll be happy to know my cast did not cancel on Wednesday, so I'm going to do the shoot I was intending to do. I was having some slight freakouts of one, it's happened 11 times where one cast member has to cancel, mostly because of COVID. But you've still paid to get that actor in terms of the hotel's booked. Things non-refundable because it's cheaper, so that's like $200 spent. So either you waste that, or you spend more to get them in, and have to get them both the next time. It's been 10 times. You wonder why the budget's gone up, but nope, she can still do it. And we're filming the short film, the Legacy of the Enterprise B. That's what that one's called.
Squadra Course says it's too early for last super chats, and already threw in the last super chat. No, it's a good time to start sniping for last super chat, honestly. So Squadra Course throws in the first shot of the war with $1. Squadra Course has this declared war on the entire chat, everybody.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, my cast are going to Mendrax 2. Have you heard of the Enterprise B's trip to Mendrax 2?
No.
Good. You'll see it in this film.
Cool.
No, that'll be a fun one. Back in Voyager costume, which I like. I don't get to use Voyager costume very much, so that'd be nice to use.
And listen, Jericho, yes, we're aware there's going to be new news from San Diego Comic-Con. Don't worry, we will cover it. I might have to do some first reaction stuff over the weekend because we won't be able to film anything official until like Tuesday. So don't worry, I will be doing first reaction stuff if there's anything groundbreaking announced.
Yeah, we'll,
regardless, we'll have edited content coming out about it after the fact. So,
yeah, we were
live next week.
Yes, we were crossing our fingers there'd be something tonight because it's the first day of San Diego Comic-Con. That was more of a we'll see. But no, doing this instead. It's really something over the weekend. I hope and expect to see a Picard teaser trailer. That would be my expectation because they want to. I think would want to get press back for that. I expect them to announce Prodigy season 1.5's release date. I expect to see a Picard teaser or trailer or a scene, maybe a scene of like Riker in full uniform or Brent or LeVar in full uniform, like just a snippet, like a real thing that'll get people excited because they want to get people. I think they're going to need to make people think. Forget out season 2, season 3. Like keep throwing those in.
But then the question in everybody's mind will be, is this great scene from the first episode and then you drop the ball, you dumb bastards?
The common problem. I wouldn't be surprised if they also announced Stranger World Season 3 getting greenlit. I wouldn't be surprised, because this is the time they need to greenlight it or not, because the sets are now been unused. So every week they're spending potentially hundreds of thousands on rent. And, cast can only be staying contract for so long. What if Anson gets offered a movie now, which shoots for 9 months? Well, he can't do both at the same time. So now you've pushed Stranger Worlds off for 9 months, and now it'll take 2 years to come out. So either that's why he tends to do multi-year contracts for actors keep them in place. And the result was so successful. I would assume they're going to at least get a 4-year, like another 1 if not 2 more year go round.
So Samuel.
Oh, hello.
How do you respond to 2008 Trojan MBA? I couldn't get into Lower Decks. That female lead character just seemed to always be yelling. It's too abrasive for me.
Well, 2008 Trojan MBA. Character arc. She starts weaker because there's character development and there's a reason. Even by the end of season 1, it all makes sense, and by the end of season 2, you're like, I like her a lot because you get her, and it's all the more satisfying. Yes. So do not take that as anything.
The contrast is extreme.
It's lovely when it's a plan. It's like in a similar way, but not quite the same with. There's so many bloody characters to remember now. All these new shows. Gwen and
Stacy.
That's Gavin and Stacey. No, Gwen and Dal. Gavin and Dal. So, yeah. Gwen and Dal also both start weaker and stronger because their journey. And for you, La'an started.
Yeah, La'an was really impressive.
There's so many fucking character names.
Yeah.
Like
All good.
Got like 10 more each year. Each 6 months. God damn it. So many.
Well, Bill Barkley says no word on Picard getting more seasons than just 3. It's not going to. It's going to be 3, and that's it.
Zero chance. It'll get spin-offs possibly.
Yeah, probably.
And my bet would be a Geordie LaForge Star Trek Geordie, because he's the most obvious untapped potential that people like reading Rainbow, even though it's a long time ago, and he's a lot younger. He looks more the same. He needs almost no prosthetics anymore. He'd be the obvious choice to have in some capacity, and he can have everyone else. I mean, it depends who's the MVP of season 3. We're not going to have a Riker show. He's too busy directing. Gates, I don't know if you want to do a full-time TV show. You don't kind of get the sense from her, personally. Like, I think LeVar just like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Sean O'Sullivan, €2.
Thank you.
Don't tell me won't be here until Tuesday. I can tell you what. Okay. Anyway, don't tell me won't be here until Tuesday. No, I'll be doing stuff over the weekend probably. Like I said, first reactions and stuff. But don't worry, we'll cover the stuff. All the stuffs.
If Trekyards comes out, boof.
Problem is we have real lives, and this is the summer. I'm going to be away for like 6 days in August for my anniversary and stuff like that. So things happen, man. We can't be here 24/7, 365 days a year.
It was called the pandemic.
Yeah. And we're still here a couple times a week, regardless of we're doing stuff or not. So
you'll always see us
in edited
Saturday.
form. Exactly.
And it's lovely to have a break from the shows. Fleeting break,
Yes.
but I think I can. You can now not be here on Friday, Stuart. Your Friday is now back for the first time in half a year.
Yes.
And that break was fleeting as well. So more inclined to take those.
Dan Ben asks, "What is Reading Rainbow?" Take a look. It's in a book. A Reading Rainbow. It was a show hosted by LeVar Burton back in the day. We were talking about books
now, in
and
fairness,
getting kids into reading.
It's not something that I ever think got into the UK or probably even Europe. It's very it's like what's that guy who's the American, like everyone's dad, Mr. Rogers? Is that his name?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. No clue, right? But there, it's like, oh my god, this guy. It's okay, cool, good for you. But yeah.
Reading Rainbow is worth checking out. It's pretty good.
Yeah. When he looked young, he did Roots, that, and Star Trek. But he was famous in one of the more famous people in Star Trek because of those things.
Yeah.
But they all had something they were known for vaguely.
Yeah. Malonis5 throws in $5. Lower Decks is my favorite. Hope they do a special live action Lower Decks episode.
Yes.
We're seeing at some point. Yes. We've been saying that all along. The actors look like their characters.
Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth doing, even if it's like a
joke.
Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, where there's like the CG version of Homer that shows up in the real world.
Yep.
Something like that could be done for sure.
Where they go into a dimensional portal and they end up in the live action world, and it's like, Boimler, you're so 3D. Yeah, they're too good not to. And come on, what amazing cred to them to be in full Lower Decks costume for Mission to Chicago, and that is the biggest regret of the last 4 years of not being able to go there and see them and get pictures of them in full costume. No one does that. Bastards that I couldn't be there.
Yeah. Matt Borbin says, especially, well, you should probably check this out on YouTube. I think there's most of the episode there, especially the episode of Reading Rainbow where he visits the TNG sets. Yes.
Oh, he's doing both at the same time. I thought he finished one, did the other. Sweet. I
No,
guess
he was doing both at the same time.
I guess he wasn't in TNG that much. he had a couple of days off a week. He could do other stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, Dan says the new footage of the Star Trek Resurgence game. Yes, I read that earlier. Very excited about that.
When is that game scheduled to come out? Do you know?
I think it's this year.
I fucking hope so.
Yes. No, I'm very excited about that.
Ooh, Mark Lawrence, holodeck enhanced to the extreme. That'd be a perfect opportunity to have them in live action. And we got a new holodeck upgrade.
Yeah.
Zoom, apply virtual skin. Zoom. This is weird, guys. Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
And you can imagine if they used like a Mandalorian style LED wall set, they can then walk onto the Cerritos without trying to be on the Cerritos. Don't have to build anything. And if Stranger Worlds can do it, just fly them to Stranger World sets. But yeah, Resurgence says this year. And it's still a good chunk of this year. Although the website is still very uninformative, so they're obviously holding a lot close to the vest. And I'm really excited to play that. Really excited to play that.
And Matt shared the link to the Reading Rainbow TNG visit.
Nice.
So you guys can watch it after the live. Open it in a new tab, have it ready to go.
Yeah. And briefly on that last thing on that game, I do think that both of us end up doing our own individual Let's Plays of that game on the channel separately. And then do like discussions about it, because we can have entirely different adventures. Or it might be very similar.
Well, it's going to be replayed by me a few times. I'm going to make different decisions and try to get different branches of the story. So
yeah,
see how it goes.
Yeah, super excited about that.
Yeah,
I think we're now in last super chat slot.
Why can't I do math? $30 away.
Yes.
From our
6-5.
If you guys,
that's it.
Yeah. A 20 and a 10.
All that.
2 5s.
So
a 30, a 50.
Oh, well, hey now, tip us, Right, in the chat right now, final vote. Which of the 5 shows do you think has been the most successful? Go.
My vote for most successful is Strange New Worlds, just because they listened to the fans, returned episodic storytelling, created a show around a character that everybody liked. But Lower Decks is also very successful, but in a different way.
Whereas I think the opposite, because Stranger Worlds had an inbuilt fan base of people. The Discovery cast are going to go want to watch it. You've already got that. TOS fans are going to want to watch it. You've already got that. Whereas Lower Decks had everything to prove.
That's true.
And especially
different metrics though.
Oh, for sure. But how many people said, "Oh, it's just a Rick and Morty clone. I don't want to watch that." All the fart jokes. Like, it had a bigger mountain to climb than Strange World had. Especially as we've already got accustomed to, they won't follow canon, so we're not going to be as pissy when they don't follow canon. Versus Lower Decks, we're then amazingly appreciative when they do follow canon, because we're not used to that anymore. So,
the thing is, in an animated show, you don't have to follow visual canon necessarily, but they do.
Yeah.
They do a very good job of doing so.
Yeah.
Squadra Course throws in $1, still sniping for that last super chat slot. Come on, guys. Well, we hit 130 likes, which is awesome. Nobody joined the channel. Nobody clicked the join button. Oh. But that's all right. So Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds, Discovery, Prodigy, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks. Prodigy's successful, but not. Prodigy got the shaft as far as being, when it was on, it had a mid-half season break.
Yeah.
It's kind of set up for failure in a way with the way it's been shown on anything.
That said, though, if they need time to create it, and we saw what Picard did with their run out of time copy and paste fleet, so I would rather them have a sporadic release schedule, because we're going to keep doing stuff in between. I'd rather they create the show they could, because clearly they're not going to go back and improve it, which they could have done for Picard. They'll never do that, so therefore what you get is what you get. I'm really happy that they're delaying as much as possible. I even think that they're sort of fight, because I know they were released before they were planning on it. They were told they were releasing when they were releasing. So I wonder if they're fighting now where they're in the schedule, because even like 5 more minutes, 5 minutes will help. 5 more weeks of a break would often do a huge difference. So I'm really happy and content with that. So. Yeah.
Well, Matt Boardman has gifted some Trekyards memberships, 5 of them.
Oh my god.
Rock, welcome to the channel. Jack Crane, Randy Miller, more Stig Gaming, and Eves Jeanette.
Well, hey.
Welcome to the channel.
Put in those emoji things. Please do.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Taylor T throws in $20.
Boom.
I've overall enjoyed all of these shows for different reasons. In the defense of Discovery, it's gotten progressively better as time goes on. Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks are certainly in the lead. Yeah. Discovery's got better and then stumbled and got better and stumbled. And
but that was pandemic, though. That hit them hard.
It's stumbled along. Jasper Jedi, $5.
Hey.
I think commercial success, Strange New Worlds takes the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Lower Decks for being faithful.
Mm-hmm.
Both have Trek heart, though. Yeah.
And I also want to give, again, huge props to Prodigy for not being a kids' show while being a kids' show. You know, it's a real show that balances it super well, far more on the side of not being a kids' show. So good job for them for doing a really strong balance. But the fact is, at Strange New Worlds, they hit the ground, and they must have been sensing very quickly, wow, everyone likes us. Because they've been watching other shows.
Yeah. Gorgonzola86 says, is there a way I can find out who gifted me membership? I did not notice in time. No, there was nobody on this one. It might have been Matt on the last one, or it might have been one on my live a while ago. It just randomly, when you gift them, it randomly selects people from the chat that are engaging in the conversation. So there's no way to tell who gifted it to you. So Area 51, $5. Coming in late, but while I like Strange New Worlds, I prefer Lower Decks because it's going forward, not reaching back.
Ooh. Well, that's
Lower Decks was both of our number one. Strange New Worlds was number 2.
That's actually really interesting because, yeah, Strange New Worlds by definition is having to fit within canon while also bending it. Whereas everything in Lower Decks is just evolving the canon and there's no ifs and buts. The Untitled shit, genius. The Orion stuff, clever. Like, it's moving forward. Yeah, wow. Good shout. Yeah, by its very nature, Strange Worlds is limited, and if they go year on year, they will knock up against TOS and be forced to get close to canon if they don't want to do. Wow. Mic drop thought there, man. And Stuart, we hit our minimum. Boom. Can I just say? Well done, everyone.
And yeah.
So final vote in the poll. It has changed a little bit, Stuart. With more people. 219 votes. Vote now if you want to quickly get in there. The winner is still Strange New Worlds, being the best out of the 5 shows in 5 years, with 60% of all the votes, which is a good margin. The second best is 33% Lower Decks, which is still respectable given the other options. The third place is Prodigy with 5%. It has raised to 5%. And Star Trek Picard with Patrick Stewart, who the applause that we all heard in the video, Vegas, of him being back, 2%, which is like 10. That's 10 people out of the 221. So there you go, guys. Stranger Worlds gets the cake.
This is Jericho. Packlid greater than Gorn. Yes, much more villainous and dangerous. And more true to their canon on screen past. Ah, yes, indeed. All right, guys. I think we'll call it there.
Just doing a 2-minute poll.
Okay.
Just like 2 minutes.
And I also want to say, join me tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'll be looking at the next episode of the Orville, which is episode 8 of season 3, called Midnight Blue. Join me tomorrow night for that. Chuck Jones says, why wasn't Discovery in the poll? Because we had a poll originally saying, would you vote Discovery as your best? And it came out, or any of the others, and there's like 95% for every one of the other ones.
Yes.
And nothing for Discovery, pretty much.
We pre-polled that. Take out the running. And you guys voted. I mean, we don't have control of these polls. Yeah. So, Stuart, read out the poll. If we can get 50 votes, that'd be great.
Let's see what we got going on here. Did you prefer more? Or what did you prefer more? Strange New Worlds or Pickard? Really?
Well, read Alan's comment.
That might be the first 100% poll. Yeah, but it's already at 3% for Picard, just because people are assholes and they don't let us have nice things like 100% polls when there's clearly an obvious winner.
I wanted to see how high it could go. I was hoping for a 99% poll, just to you know.
Well, more people vote. We got 34 votes. Everybody go vote in the poll.
Yes.
Let's bump those numbers up because the 2 people that voted for Picard just because they're trolls.
That's not. No.
Shame on
They're not trolls. No. And we're gonna, I believe, do our review of the Orville batch, the next batch, next week. That's quite a few episodes to look at before the last 3, I guess. We still don't know if this is season 4. They're almost into season 3, so you know they should tell us soon. But I know all the VFX people have had their last day, so that's interesting on season 3. And one of them said they worked on season 3 for 3 years, which is the longest single run on any TV show 1 year ever, as in for them, because of And can you imagine how many tens of millions of a budget for all season 3? I mean, it probably costs as much as all 3 seasons put together. Well, no, probably 2 seasons put together. And it's also, they're also double as long episodes, so yeah, it's going to be at least 2.5 seasons worth of money in one season. But, Stuart, the audience did a thing. They ruined my thing.
I know they did.
I tried, Stuart. I tried. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow night for another live on a topic of some kind. Join us then. Be a fun one. On Stranger Worlds.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah. Because we need to, rent.
Oh. I thought you said tomorrow I have Friday off. It's the first time in forever.
Oh,
what?
Well. I did say that.
We moved it to today.
It was both or neither.
That's why I picked today.
Oh.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
That is true. If you're around.
Malonis 5, $4. Prequels are hard to feel stakes. Yeah, generally speaking.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of gotta ignore that. But now everything's a prequel because Discovery's in the future. So every single show is a prequel.
Well, not well.
Because we know that the Federation survives. We know that that's the thing about it. They've jumped so many guns. In essence, we knew that with the temporal stuff as well, but we know so little. Who knew? But you sniped. Good job.
Well, the poll results: 46 votes. Strange New Worlds, 91%. Picard, 9%. It's way higher than I expected. So, all you Picard lovers, thank you so much for putting in your input. After season 3, I don't know. I think my thoughts on Picard are going to improve. So,
if the show comes, yeah. So until then, Stuart, you are Captain Foley.
I am. He is Commander Coffee.
I am.